There is an alarming new report from the U.S. government that is shedding some new light on the impact of climate change on real estate. As part of her continuing series on the rising risk to real estate, Diana Olick joining us now on set with more. Diana, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Brian. Yeah, from floods to droughts and wildfires, the threat of increasingly extreme weather to homes is clear, but the risk to the mortgage market of a climate foreclosure crisis is just now coming into focus.
Hurricane Harvey flooded close to 100,000 Houston area homes, and the vast majority of them had no flood insurance.
Ultimately ended up about 4 feet.
Jennifer and Andy Taylor did have insurance and at the time vowed to rebuild.
The fabric of the community has been amazing.
But as they watched several homes on their street go into foreclosure and the fabric of their community seemed to unravel, the Taylors joined other struggling neighbors and sold to hungry investors who descended on the city.
We have sold.
Houston's strong economy made it a hot housing market before the storm, and investors are still swarming foreclosure auctions like this one now, rekindling images from the foreclosure crisis a decade ago.
I've heard plenty of stories of homeowners who had no choice but to walk away.
In Harvey's federally declared disaster areas, 80% of the homes had no flood insurance because they weren't normally prone to flooding. Serious mortgage delinquencies on damaged homes jumped more than 200%, according to CoreLogic. Houston could have seen a massive foreclosure crisis were it not for that strong investor demand. The next city to get hit by a natural disaster might not be so lucky. In Houston, investor purchases of 10 or more properties jumped nearly 50% in the year following Harvey, according to Atom Data Solutions. Some were large buyers like Cerberus Capital and Homevestors. Others were smaller home flippers like JP Patel.
As an investor, I mean, it was kind of a perfect opportunity.
Patel and his team have bought more than 80 flooded properties so far.
We literally can avoid the whole problematic nature of the foreclosure process.
And it's not over yet.
Even a year after Harvey, neighborhoods like this one are still rebuilding, littered with empty houses and empty lots. Some say all of this should be a wake-up call to the nation's banks and mortgage lenders.
We asked Ed Delgado, the CEO of a mortgage industry trade association, if the mortgage market is prepared for increasingly severe weather.
I don't think they are. I think if we look at the basic foundation of what drives the mortgage market is the application of credit risk. What's missing is the understanding of weather risk and where those weather events can take place.
Delgado emphasized that most of the damaged homes in Houston were not in FEMA floodplains.
Well, you have this tremendous urbanization, population growth, roads that are being built in the last 10 years. Where does the water go? And is there an underlying risk for us to examine with respect to our portfolio? And then make decisions. Should we be lending in those markets?
Lenders today and the federal government that backs most loans base their risk on FEMA's flood maps. But even top FEMA officials admit their maps don't account for increasingly extreme weather. David Morstead leads risk management at FEMA.
We can't try to determine what's going to happen in 12 months beyond because insurance is set up for what your risk is today. And it wouldn't meet actuarial science to charge you for a future potential.
FEMA is required to update its maps every 5 years, and Marstad says it relies heavily on local communities reporting problems. But some don't because they don't want their insurance premiums to go up.
We know that only 1/3 of the properties in the high-risk area have flood insurance, so we have a lot of work to do.
As does the mortgage industry, which could ultimately see a climate foreclosure crisis.
I think it could come close in terms of exposing lenders to uncontrollable risk. When you have $1 trillion of real estate at risk in coastal markets, it's about time you start paying attention to that.
Most lenders follow underwriting guidelines from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the FHA, which back the vast majority of mortgages today. So in the end, it may be the taxpayers left holding the bag on climate foreclosures.
Excellent piece, part of your continued series. I got to imagine that FEMA and the mortgage market are going to have much more to say and much more to do on this topic.
Absolutely. I mean, the more storms we get, and I'm not just talking about hurricanes and floods, we tend to show a lot of water in this series, but fire damage also due to droughts. They really have to start focusing on what the risk is, but the problem is right now they're looking at the here and now and not projecting the risk 5 years, 10 years, 15 years out.
It's amazing to me, too, having been in Galveston and Houston during Harvey and seeing the water level, being on some of those boats, that these investors keep buying these homes. Some of them had 4, 5, 6, 8 feet of water.
But they're fixing them up and they're flipping them. The demand in the Houston area, I mean, that was a year later. Hundreds of investors there making money.